Hey there, I'm Mikey.
I'm Johnny.
And we just landed in Portland. We're gonna go on an adventure. So come join us, because there's always more to do.
This was a fun trip. We got to take that with our siblings. It was the first time we did it, all four of us together.
It's pretty foggy out. It's pretty cool. Lots of trees everywhere. Very interesting to see. Even through the center of town. As you can see.
It was foggier in person, I think.
Can't really tell. You can still see trees in the background, but it was pretty foggy.
Oh, that was a pretty cool structure. I really liked seeing that one. Don't know what it is. Maybe a factory. Maybe just some port building. I don't know. But it was fascinating to see all of these buildings and structures around this area. I mean, we've never been here before, so it was interesting to see.
And I did like that we could take a tram coming out of the airport right away. That was new for us. That was our restroom. It was a little tour of our hotel room.
Our hotel room was kind of neat. We had this Murphy bed that would pull out of the wall there on the left.
We're here at Pine Street Market. Going to check out some of the restaurants inside. It's a little early, so we'll see what's open. Hopefully we'll be able to enjoy some food, maybe even a drink or two.
So it ended up being that there was only 2 restaurants open and that bar right there.
We ended up eating at this burger place, this Pleasure Burger. It was really delicious.
Is it getting worse?
So I cross-threaded because they're the wrong jacket. So, but it goes up, but it doesn't come down.
You did it to the right.
So, there, it's kind of wiggle.
Wiggle.
That was funny.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this bookstore was amazing. I really fell in love with this structure, actually. That structure, I played with it for like 5 minutes. It was interesting.
Yeah, because it's actually movable. It's an interactive one. A lot of people put stickers on it, but it actually moves a little bit.
And it's part of the sculpture.
And these books, the bookshelves go on for a couple floors, and then we end up going to Birdie Time Pub there. It's a nice little mini golf place. Got a few clips of us playing. Pretty unique themed. Most of them are sports themed of some kind.
But it was interesting, and they were challenging too. They weren't easy. Some of them were difficult. I had trouble with the first hole, honestly. Oh yeah, that was the ball you used.
Yeah, I really liked that ball. So, what I liked about it also was that the putters that they had weren't the ones that you get at normal mini golf places. It was actually
like a good one, like the one where I'm using right there.
It was like an Odyssey or something. So, there were actual golf putters that people would use playing golf. Oh. Yeah, the hole in one. That was awesome.
That was the first hole in one.
This coffee place was near our hotel. It was really nice. Definitely like a mom and pop style shop. It was really pretty and quaint. There were a couple of tables.
The staff was really friendly too.
Yeah, they gave us a lot of info.
He's so cute. He's so fat.
That was a cute bird.
We did like those little fountain things. We were wondering what they were for shortly after that bird landed there. It was pretty.
Oh yeah, we got to take that picture there. It was a nice place for a picture. I really like the architecture of this building. That was one of the things that I enjoyed, the architecture. As you can see here, the courthouse of the area. It was really nice.
Funny enough, this one reminds me of the one up in like smaller towns and stuff. I guess they were all built around the same time. Just a little short drive. We went to the Japanese garden, and so this was kind of en route there.
It's different from where we're from, so we thought it was pretty fascinating.
These are way more trees and way more green than what we're used to. We have a lot of flat ground, land and grass.
I was also amazed at the cliffside, how the trees were holding up on the cliffside.
We're checking out the Japanese, what is it?
Garden.
What is it? Portland Japanese.
It's funny.
We're checking out the Portland Japanese Garden. Come check it out with us.
Nailed it. Funny enough, I had just looked at the paper too right before I tried to say it.
That was pretty courtyard.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the bonsais.
It had quite a bit of different varieties of bonsais. Some as old as like 350 years old, and I think there was one of 500.
1 to 500, yeah. It's incredible.
They're still like, you know, fit in a pot within like that size, but I mean they were pretty tall. Looked like big bushes practically.
Oh yeah, they had one of these areas. It was really nice and serene, very pretty.
I imagine during springtime there would be a lot of more color.
Mm.
As it is, it's still very peaceful
And colorful. They had this little area where you could see wood block prints, and that was very fascinating. Originally, I was just amazed that it was good art, but then one of the ladies that was nearby providing information mentioned that it was wood block, so every color required a different wood block to make these, and I found that to be fascinating. An old style of mass printing, and the overlook of Mount Hood was beautiful.
I didn't think you were going to be able to capture it on camera. It's good. It's cool.
Of course, had to take a picture there. It was a very pretty scene. On the way down, we saw the sand garden. And this beautiful little area with a little waterfall coming in too.
I was actually surprised that was there.
It sounded so peaceful. I wanted to just sit there actually for a little while and just kind of chill.
It was a little drizzly that day too, off and on, so I didn't say too long, but it was nice.
Love that sound, love it. It was like about 2 minutes between each little thump. A lot of little waterfalls like these. Not really waterfalls.
I don't know. So this was actually not inside the garden anymore. This was across the parking lot, but fascinated us that there was still so much green around.
And this was the rose garden, but unfortunately it wasn't in bloom at the time that we went. We went around Thanksgiving.
Voodoo Donut.
Originally we were just gonna keep walking by because we seen Voodoo Donuts before, but we don't eat a lot of sweets. But we were actually intrigued, and we're glad we stopped by. The place looks really nice, and the donuts were pretty good. We ended up only buying 4 donuts and trying them throughout the rest of the trip.
Unfortunately, that was closed, so we couldn't go in there. It would have been interesting to see what you can see inside.
Haven't been on a boat like that before, so it would have been a cool experience. This was a fun little arcade bar that we went to. It had so many different games, as you can see, and each of them were relatively inexpensive to play. I think we bought a card for $10 that night.
Yeah,
And
it
then-
lasted us for a good couple hours.
Yes.
And service was nice too, very friendly.
And there was a lot of old nostalgic games as well. We got to play Ninja Turtles in Time, The Simpsons. That one right there. Classic. Yeah, we got to play. Oh, the X-Men. We all got to play. That was pretty cool.
Just like when we were growing up. Pizza at the end of the night. Fortunately, it wasn't as delicious as it seemed.
That one was probably our worst meal on there. Sadly, it was too salty. There was a lot of bridges in the area. Didn't know that about Portland, so it was pretty interesting to see. I like architecture of different bridges, and so I thought it was interesting.
There's a little mural across the Museum of Science. This was cool.
I enjoyed seeing that visualization of the like what happens on a gas giant like Jupiter. More bridges. Yeah, they had the Nelson Mandela exhibit there. It was quite fascinating.
Music room?
Yeah, there was this music room. It's just strings you could plug into different sounds, but we didn't have a recording of it.
And I didn't really explore too much of that. Didn't want to touch too many things.
Yeah. Edison bulbs.
That's right. I forgot they had those there.
Yeah, those were pretty cool. I enjoyed seeing that. I like seeing old technology, where we've come
Especially
from.
Those wax recordings
Oh,
devices. And it's fascinating how people came up with this. Same thing with this generator is massive.
Human ingenuity is so fascinating to see what we have come up with as a species. Moving forward, we continue to keep expanding on it. It's so nice. But this was a cool little model where you could see how the cranes work,
You
and
can
it was
actually
interactive.
move 'em, yeah.
So there was this kid, he was playing with it. We didn't do it, but we were quite fascinated by it. They had a smaller scale version also for smaller kids, but that one was the larger version.
Oh, and I love stop motion. Some of my favorite movies happen to be exhibited as far as their works and their models. So you see here Coraline.
And so they had these miniatures that you could see, and it's interesting to see them in real life as well.
Like Leica.
This one was fascinating. It was a lot bigger than I imagined, but it fits the scale, so it's really nice to see. And there's a lot of detail, which you can't see on the camera in the video, but it was really nice. We also went to this sushi place that had this conveyor belt.
This is the first time that I've ever been to a sushi conveyor belt restaurant. Pretty cool.
Very delicious. But we also had this for the next day for breakfast. It was a small little area. There was only about 27 seats in a kind of a W shape, and it was very delicious. All the food came out so good.
It was like home cooking. It was pretty nice. We took the little scooters over to the next museum we're going to. It just so happened to be that there was a market going on in front of the church there. And squirrel. Love seeing squirrels. It's amazing how this has survived time.
Not only that somebody took the time to make it, and how long it could have taken to study, to learn, to make knowledge passed down generations. So crazy. This is a really tall statuette.
It's pretty detailed, I felt.
It was interesting to see so many horses. That was actually one of the things that they had on display in large amounts. They had at least 4 or 5 different horses. I enjoyed the statues here, but I enjoyed their craftsmanship. These were interesting to see. Very old history, and I was amazed at how long some of these things were.
This was from the Egyptian exhibit. The Egyptian exhibit. It was on the first floor of this. I think it was 3 floors of a museum and 2 buildings.
I thought that these were made out of stone, but here I was interested to see that it was actually made out of wood. So I'm also fascinated that they've survived so long, not being out of stone. Although there are some that are stone, like this one.
You can't really see the detail in inscriptions here on camera, but it was really, really interesting to see how much was actually on that stone.
And it's also very thick. It was almost 6 inches at least.
Same thing with these books. They've survived so long, considering the material they're made out of. It's amazing.
This was a model of one of the resting places.
The pyramids? No.
No, it was a resting place of one of the queens, but I don't remember which one. I think we captured the name on the video, but it's still breathtaking to see how large it was.
And we're coming into more of the, I think it was 1100s to 12th century to 14th century, I think.
Definitely early paintings. A lot of them did have a similarity with the holding of babies or religious icons. They were all very fascinating to see, and you could see the detail in the paintings as well. But the sculptures, I enjoyed getting close to them. Seeing the marble look like it's not marble. That one was so detailed.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Talented. I'm sure that took a lot of time.
I thought that one was fascinating. You should go back and pause it and read it.
Hopefully you can see it on the camera. These are fascinating paintings. I believe they're Monet's.
Monet's.
Yeah.
I don't think I had seen Monet's before, and then like in books and stuff. I wasn't into art.
I had seen them before, but only as posters. That hallway was really nice. I enjoyed that hallway.
This is another game lounge that we tried to go to, but it was quite empty, and then we thought the prices were a little bit steep considering that we had just gone to the other bar arcade.
But they had really fascinating decor with all these games lined up in the bookshelf, which you could play.
Pretty much any game that you can think of, you could probably play there, which is great in its own thing.
But we liked the other place, so we ended up going back and had another fun night there. This was beautiful. We were checking out an old water reserve, but the nature around it was nice. And in this, I was fascinated by how thick the trees are. But we're on our way to see the Bridal Veil Falls. It was so gorgeous.
You know, it's not one of the biggest waterfalls or anything, but I love waterfalls. I think they're just so peaceful.
Yeah, the waterfall was worth the trip. That was a picture from the casino that we went to after the Bridal Veil Falls.
Oh, I think that was the first time that we actually sat next to each other, all of the cars, right?
Yeah. But yeah, that was a trip. It was a fun trip to travel with our siblings. Trips are fun.
Trips are fun. Yeah, exploring new things, tasting new food, even seeing museums. They all change. They're all a little bit different, even though they all show a little bit of history. Yeah, you never might know what you might find and discover.
There's a lot out there. Well, always more to do.
On to the next adventure.
See you then.
Have a good one.